Thank you, everybody, for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Lukas. I am the jazz coordinator here for the city of Lexington, North Carolina. Always have to emphasize North Carolina because there's so many Lexingtons out there. People get confused sometimes. Um, but anyway, so we were tasked a while back with a good way for kind of our citizens to kind of be our eyes and ears kind of in the community and give them a way that they could report any kind of issues found in the community, whether it be graffiti, potholes, street lights out, things of that nature, and try to get a good way for them to be able to report these issues and then get them into our work order management system, which we just implemented about probably in about 6 to 8 months. Cityworks, so get those issues into Cityworks and have a good way to get the service request in there, and then from there create work orders, get the work completed, and at the same time, keeping the citizen abreast of what's going on. So, just a quick agenda. We are going to quickly just, address the problem and kind of why we went the way we went. And then I'll do this really quick breakdown of the workflow and kind of a whole integration process, kind of how it looks as far as with a schematic kind of view. And then, because, pictures worth 1,000 words. Everybody loves a good demo. So let's do a really quick demo and then do a recap, and hopefully we have some time for some questions, which it seems like. So as I said before, we want to create a user-friendly way for citizens to really kind of easily and quickly report issues throughout the community, while at the same time cutting down our phone calls to upper management. Council members were getting a lot of phone calls, city managers getting a lot of phone calls saying, hey, this is going on in the community, and they're busy people, we're all busy. And so they want to figure out a way that we could quickly and easily just kind of cut down on those phone calls for them and kind of, because, really get them out of the loop and really get it directly to the person that needed it, needed to, take care of the issue. While also at the same time, we wanted to be able to use our existing infrastructure and the software we had, so we didn't have to, really do too much extra training, and most importantly, didn't have to do any additional purchasing, because, I'm sure as a lot of you are, like myself, we have certain amount of budget that can only be stretched so far. So with that in mind, we decided to use Esri Citizen Problem Reporter application, which is a solution that Esri provides, and then also use our Cityworks, which we already had. And since the Citizen Problem Reporter, it's very, very user-friendly. It creates location-enabled service requests that allow the public to quickly and easily report for any issues they find. This application, depending how far you want to take it, is minimal to no coding. As you kind of see, we did a good amount of coding. Wasn't anything too crazy. I always tell people, I'm not a coder. I didn't know enough to be dangerous. So I think if I can do it, I'm sure anybody can. Then we wanted to easily keep citizens, our council members, and our also upper management abreast of what was going on, while also at the same time have the ability to track these costs and location of these repairs as they were coming in. So, like I said, what we did, we decided to use Esri Citizen Problem Reporter. I don't know if any of y'all have used any of the solutions that Esri has. They are really slick. There's tons of them out there. If you haven't got a chance to, I suggest checking them out. Now, the Esri Citizen Problem Reporter consists initially from 5 different solution or applications, so to speak. There's the dashboard, there's the actual Citizen Problem Reporter application. There's a hub site that goes with it. There's also a satisfaction survey, and then the manager application. And these are already a lot of this is pre-configured right out of the box, and you kind of have to kind of plug in your data and kind of tweak it as you see fit. Trim. Sorry about that, folks. So we decided to use, for the time being, we're using the first 2 I spoke about. We're using the actual Citizen Problem Reporter application itself and the dashboard. And so we thought we went with these 2 things because at the moment, these are what best fit our needs. Now, kind of how this workflow works is in a very standard, layout here is basically what it is. The customer will submit a service request to the problem reporter, and then we have a script that runs every 30 minutes. And what that script does, initially, the very first thing it does, it checks for any kind of duplicate records. And I'll get more into this towards the end of the presentation. But what the duplicates is, we have the spot where there's a way to determine if or plug in about how far we want this distance to be as far as checking for duplicates of the same type. So we at the moment we're using 30 feet at the moment. So basically, if anything's reported of like if let's say a pothole or a streetlight out is reported, same one's reported within 30 feet, somebody comes back in and reports it. Someone else comes back in after it's already been reported. If that happens, there's duplicate. What will happen is, soon when the script runs, instead of creating a service request in Cityworks, what it will do, it will send out an email to the customer or our citizen saying, "Hey, thank you very much. This issue has already been reported." Then they also supply a service request ID so they can track that via the web app, or if they needed to, if they had to call in for any reason, they could reference that. They could easily be found within Cityworks. Now, if there's not a duplicate, whereas, it's the first time this issue has been reported of this type, then what will happen is that script will automatically create a service request in Cityworks. And also at the same time, an email will be shot off to the responsible responsible department, to whatever employee they deem can either be a group. Like sometimes we have some groups that will be responsible, say for streetlights out, a group of people will be emailed letting them know that streetlights out, because that's something, we want to make sure something like that occurs, that some people are notified in case someone's not maybe sitting at their desk. We have other issues that maybe not so pressing, kind of like potholes. They tend just to go to really this kind of one person who will then parse that work orders out as needed. Then also, now once the service request gets into Cityworks and it has been verified, or once it gets to Cityworks, from then on that script is done, and then from then on out, webhooks take over, and those webhooks are configured within Cityworks itself. So what happens is, once a service request is in fact created within Cityworks, a citizen will get an email saying, "Thank you for reporting this issue. Here's a service request ID for your reference," and it'll basically, whatever information they decided to put in there, it will feed back. It'll fill in the fields within the email body of the email, and you'll see that shortly. And then same thing if the webhooks, as work progresses, when work begins, when it gets changed from the status of submitted to work in progress, another email will be sent to the reporting party, the citizen, saying that, "Thank you, work has begun." And then same thing, once work is completed, they'll get a final email that says, your work for this has been completed, and thank you for reporting it. Work has been completed, so they know. So basically, they're informed the entire process, and they're not left kind of wondering, I reported this. Is work started? Is it completed? What's going on? So this was a really, really easy, automatic way that we don't, our employees don't have to worry about sending an email to them. As soon as they change that status for the work progress, an email will automatically be sent to the reporting party. So, demo. You can see all this in action. So basically, in this demo, I will be acting as a citizen who has found some graffiti in a parking lot and wants to report it. So once you log into the application, the very first thing that's going to come up is going to ask if you want to share your, if you'd like to share your location. You don't necessarily have to, but it makes it makes locating on the map much easier and simpler to do to the citizen. And then also they'll get kind of this basically important information saying, if this is an emergency, please call this number. This is for non-emergency problems only. And then just really quickly kind of says, very quickly what you need to do to submit an issue, and then also letting them know that all their personal information will be kept confidential. Let's get this to work here. All right, so here's the demo. So like I said, once we get started, the information will come up again. Once they select allow, they kind of read it and they kind of exit out of there. The next step's going to happen. They'll see any current requests that are already there. They can click on those. And then once they get into the application, this is what it looks like on their phone. Depending on the category you select, we have 6 different ones to choose from. it'll determine what kind of drop downs for the request type, but you'll have. In this case, it's graffiti, and you can put any kind of details you want in there: first name, last name, email, phone number. And then as long as you allowed your location to be shared, you can put crosshairs and it'll automatically grab the nearest address to you. You can also, if you wanted to, click on the map, it'll do the same thing, or you can type in an address. You can also choose a photo. Take a photo. In this case, I took a photo of this nice little smiley face someone decided to put in our parking lot. And at that point, hit submit, and at that point, the citizen is done. And I just want to stop this real quick. At the top, you see, once they hit report, that submit rather, the citizen's job at that point is done. They'll get a little message that says, "Thank you. Your report has been submitted. Once verified by city staff, become visible on the map." All right, let's kind of let them know when they can expect an email. And in some cases, we've noticed some email servers will send it to, for some reason, we'll send it to spam, some won't. It's just kind of hit or miss. So we kind of let them know that may be an occurrence. But one thing I do want to point out is, at this point, the reported issue is not visible on the map, and that is by design. The reason that is, I'm not going to say which municipality, but when I talked to one of my colleagues who worked at a different municipality, they launched something similar to this, and they had the ability to kind of do the same kind of thing, take picture and what have you. And they said that when they first launched this, they, for some reason, were having some citizens that were taking pictures of things that only your doctor should see. So to avoid that embarrassment or that awkwardness, we decided that, hey, we should probably have city staff QA/QC all this stuff before it it hits the map publicly. So anyway, just want to put that out there. And now what you see here are the two emails. The one on the right here is from what the citizen will receive. And it basically says the same information they just put in. It's my name, my email address, the details. And there'll also be the service request ID that I spoke of earlier, letting them know that is in fact in Cityworks. And then on the left, you'll see another email that is very, very similar, pretty much the same information that citizen gets. This is actually sent to the responsible department for, in this case, as a business community development. And they're kind of in charge of working with graffiti. And then in their email, there's actually a link to log into Cityworks here. And here at the city, we use single sign-on, so it's really easy for our employees. It's the exact same username and login that we use for city computers. Then once they get into Cityworks, there are tabs for each department. In this case, it's business community development. And here, this is when they can QA/QC everything. And they can look at, any information that's been put in there, make sure nothing has been said. Then also there at the bottom, you'll see they can open that image if they so choose to look at it. Once again, make sure it's not anything that shouldn't be there. Here, they can also add some staff comments. Now, once they've QA/QC'd everything, they decide, okay, this is in fact a real issue. We're going to start this work. They change that status to in progress. And at that point, the citizen will get an additional email, as I spoke of. They know the work is in progress. And then also is a spot where the staff comments have been put in there saying, thank you for letting it go. But thank you for reporting this issue. And now at this point, we have, and this is done through filters on the map. Now, that's when QA/QC'd in progress, the work has begun. Now that this is now visible on the map and shown as being in progress. If somebody else comes along, they can see, if they spot something, oh, I don't need to report this. It's already been reported. They can also have the ability of there that they don't have to scroll through all those lists, depending on what it is. They can also search by that request ID and get right to the issue that they were looking for. And same thing again. Once you go in there, you can go in and go back and say, okay, the work has been completed. So they'll go and they'll change the status to completed. They'll save it, and once that saves, another email will be sent off via webhook, letting them know work has been completed. And if they so choose, they can click back on that map. There's a link back to the map as well, so they can look at that information. Now, once the work's been completed, this is also by design. We have it so any issues that have been completed are taken automatically, just not displayed on the map, so it doesn't junk up anything. And this is a really quick, and I just want to point this out real quick. This is some of our webhooks. And I know, sometimes you might want to say, well, what if I want to, what if we don't have time to necessarily get to the work right away, but we want the issue to be reported on the maps, people can see it, and so that they don't have to, they don't have to, they can actually see it and not try to, duplicate service request. So for this case, I have 3 webhooks. One is when the request is created, and the other one was when the status is changed, and then the next one was basically when it's dispatched to. So what we have done is that we tell our employees, say, hey, just don't change it to in progress if the work hasn't started, just so it appears on the map. Because then if you don't have time for it for a week or two, people might get upset and say, hey, I reported this a week ago and it says work's been in progress. How long does it really take to do this? So to kind of get rid of that, we have a request dispatch to. So once the dispatch to field has been filled in, that will also make the request appear on the map as a submitted. So this way, people know that's there, they can see it, but there's also lets them know, say, hey, we haven't quite got to it yet. Sorry, we are working on it. Oh, that did not want to do that. Sorry about that, folks. Excuse me about that. All right, sorry. So, man, I apologize. So the last thing, here we go, is duplicates. So in this case, someone's requesting someone may have got one to the map and they didn't see anything and they didn't realize there was a duplicate record. So what that did here in this situation was they said, okay, there's a duplicate. Maybe they didn't see it. So this time when they tried to report that issue, and it allows them to report it. But when the script runs this time, instead of making a service request, they get a different email that says submit request duplicate. And here it just is very simple. And this is actually within the script itself saying probably the same type as this location has been already recorded. Here is a request ID for the existing problem. Feel free to track it on the application itself. So, last thing I wanted to show you is this also I spoke about is the dashboard. And here in the dashboard, once it loads, this is what our city council and our city manager really love. This lets them know, and you can set this as you want to, let you know what's been reported and how long it's been in. And the nice thing about this dashboard is everything is clickable and everything interacts with everything else. So you click on, say, Blight right there, and it'll show you all the requests that are completed, that are open. It'll also give you the time and what month it's been reported, how many are out there, where they are. If you want to click on just the month, you click on that and it will show you all of the issues that were reported that month. If you want to, you can just have everything available and you can click on the right on the list and it'll zoom to that layer and it'll also show you any pictures associated with it. And this is for upper management to kind of look at and kind of view. And it gives them really good insight of what's going on, the time frames, and this allows them really, really easy. And it's really nice for people who are not really GIS savvy because it's very intuitive. If you just wanted to just say, if you right out of the gate, you said, I just wanted to see anything for land use or anything for parks, you could just select those issues and only those types would appear on the dashboard. And we've got a lot of positive feedback from this from upper management because it's very easy to use. And, it's basically all the information in one place and kind of gives them really good insight what's going on, where the resources are going, and where kind of some of our issues are occurring. So just, quick recap, we were able to create enrich public engagement through our user-friendly application by doing location-enabled service requests. And with the dashboard, we were able to keep all of our stakeholders and our management informed, which really allowed for better planning of all of our resources. And this, by turn, it really improved our organizational performance and response times and helped keep our resources do the best use of their ability. And really helped save a lot of money as well by not having, having our citizens and making our citizens a lot happier too. Because I'm sure, happy citizen for government makes your job much easier and makes your life much happier. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I have some links there to the Esri crowdsource script on GitHub, as well as a citizen problem reporter compilation. And with that, I'd like to open up to any questions.
Thanks, Ari. Yeah, we've definitely got a little bit of chat happening. Adrian had asked, any chances can be email and or text notifications?
So we've looked into doing text notifications. That's something we're actually considering. From what I understand, you can. It's you have to have a separate. Obviously. So this is all done via our free application via webhooks, Python scripting, and through the problem reporter and Cityworks. So that's kind of all free. Now, if you have a text service that you're already paying for, what I understand, we're actually looking into incorporating text as well. So it is possible. We have not gone down that avenue yet. We've only launched this thing about 2 months ago. Um, but as a moment, we are. It is possible. Yes, it is. But you would have to have a separate service for that.
Makes sense. Gregory had asked how, I'm going to say, how easy is it to link data between the different kind of figures on the dashboard? So, um, I think that dashboard that you were showing, there was like the relationships for like kind of filtering all the different ways. Was that difficult to set up or not too bad?
No, it's very intuitive. It's a little, you got to play with it a little bit, but it's all with. If you ever done, there's some great resources on the Esri, um, Esri training site, how to make dashboards, and it's really all about just playing with the filters and the interaction between the two. So it's pretty. Once you get one, then you're like, oh, okay, I got this, and then you can kind of just go roll through the rest of them.
For sure. Yeah, it's so nice to have that filtering. Like that just, yeah, makes it
And I
sort of
forgot to say
lovely
real
to
quick
look
with
at the
that
data.
dashboard with the script, I'm going to plug. Vinion also was a big helped us with getting some of the duplicate. Um, I give a shout out to Vinion. I forgot to put their logo here, so I apologize about that. Vinion.
Pretty, pretty great. Pretty great. Know a lot of people have just great experiences with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Calvin said, my understanding is that Cityworks has a built-in email rules feature based on actions like create, dispatch to, status changed, etc. But if you want text messages, that might be custom webhooks based on actions. So, yeah, it sounds like that he was responding to that previous question of Adrian's. Gregory said, I've used Tokyo and HubSpot to send messages before, but then you have to handle phone numbers and messaging. And then I'm going to go for Jeff Hansen. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Has asked, where are you running the scripts?
So the scripts are they're just on one of our servers that we have. And it's just a Python script that just we have scheduled with Task Manager or Task Scheduler, excuse me. So you could really store them anywhere, as long as you have it mapped correctly.
Cool. And
I
then,
have,
oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, I was going to say one last question for Ari. What's the protocol when you get a request for a private property or something that the town doesn't maintain, the city doesn't maintain?
Yes. So we actually, which I have to cover that in my presentation, but we also have it is an email, I guess an email webhook, so to speak, within Cityworks. That if the city, like where it's scheduled or it's configured, that if it is on private property or let's say it's a DOT main road, not the city maintained road, our citizens are saying, they cancel the service request, and when they cancel the service request, an email will be sent out as long as an email address was supplied that says, "Thank you for reporting this. Unfortunately, this issue is out of city's jurisdiction. And then it will say for one of the following reasons, and it's kind of like this gives like 3 or 4 bullet points. And then it said, but then usually we'll have the staff add comments as well saying this is a DOT road or this is a private location, something of that nature. And so that information will automatically be fed into the email as well. So the citizen will know that we're not ignoring them. It's just we're kind of where our hands are tied.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually have a last question. You
Okay.
said that you guys went live a couple of months ago. About how many reports have you received so far?
We went full live about 2.5 months ago, and I think we're about, I want to say, if I remember, last time I checked was yesterday. It was day before yesterday. I think we're at 62 or so.
Okay, nice. And do you feel like that's a good range of different folks making those reports, or like just wondering like how that community engagement has gone
Oh,
for
yeah,
people
I think it's
knowing?
going pretty well. I mean, I said, I think 2 weeks ago we want to have it live. And we kind of, council asked that we present it to them, and one council member was like, "Hey," kind of joked, say, "I just want to say you helped save my marriage because I was driving around our district with my wife and a couple of weeks ago and said you should take care of these potholes. This is your district." And then we drove by, ironically, literally the day before the council meeting. I don't know if that has something to do with it or not. Anyway, I was happy, but he said, by the way, thank you. This potholes got fixed. And, I asked her, I was like, who'd you call? She goes, oh, I didn't call. I used the app.
That's really cool. That's awesome. I love when that kind of
Yeah.
works out.
I was like, I had a gold star. I'd pin it on myself.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's awesome. Alrighty. Well, thanks so much, Ari. That was a great presentation, and yeah, just really appreciate you sharing that with us.